them. Paul and Oates. It's a man-eater. Good morning, I'm Dave. We're at 8:43 here, 17 now before 9. Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation. You do dance. Time to check in and see what's going on with your money today, and a financial advisor you can count on. Phillip Statler is on the line to try to decipher the herky-jerkies we had yesterday on the market. Phillip, good morning. It's good to hear you today.
Hey, good morning, Dave. Good to be here as we get ready to almost close out the week. One more day. Yesterday was a surprise. I think we enjoyed some green ink, and that was a good thing. The question is, can we continue, and will the news allow us to kind of move in that same direction?
That's the thing, our famous 60-minute news cycle these days. Yeah, we ended up green yesterday. The Dow was up 285 points. Standard & Poor's up by 24. NASDAQ up by 48.5. But boy, at 2 p.m., but what we normally expected happened. The Federal Reserve Open Market Committee announced no interest rate change, and the Dow immediately fell 400 points. Then Paulson took the stage and answered all the questions the reporters had for him, rebounded up 200, then Trump reacted, went down 100, then back up 100. I mean, it looked like a seismograph, and don't think it surprised either one of us that it was going back and forth for the rest of the day. I'm glad we ended up in green ink territory. We never actually went negative yesterday, and I'm counting that as a source of optimism in the markets anyway, wouldn't you?
Well, it was. The NASDAQ actually, when I looked at it at one point late afternoon, was in the red a little bit.
Yeah.
But it bounced back up, so that was good for everything to close in the green section today. Yesterday.
Yeah, growth stocks got a little bit more jittery, but then again, that makes sense. They're the more interest-sensitive stocks, and the people that take flyers on the possibility that the Fed might reduce interest rates. They were probably a little bit more disappointed than the blue chip traders were, wouldn't you suspect?
Yeah, probably so. That's probably a good way of putting it.
It was kind of interesting. I mean, Powell, when he took the stage, did the press conference, 45 minutes long. One of my tip sheets was counting the number of times he used the word uncertainty. 13 times inside of 45 minutes, Powell said things are uncertain. Then some reporter asked him if he was meeting with President Trump anytime soon, and Powell's response was, quote, "I've never asked for a meeting with any president, and I never will." So Trump's response was to call him a fool, which prompted one of those 100-point swings. And then they ended with everything in the green. One of the things Trump did do yesterday that probably is giving some buoyancy today, at 10 o'clock this morning, he said they've struck a deal with Great Britain and Northern Ireland as to a tariff reduction deal with them. We don't know what it is, but just the fact that there's a deal, the specifics will come out at 10 this morning. That gives us a little bit of buoyancy, and it's something that you and I have been saying for a few days now. Just give us something to chew on, some good news. And that is good news that we've at least concluded a deal with one of the people that we were having a tiff with.
That's right. And so let's face it, it was less of a tiff than anybody else because we did not do any retaliatory tariffs against the UK. They did get some of the other things, though, like aluminum and steel and automobiles. But other than that, they didn't get hit real hard on the tariff side. But it's nice to see them come to the table and let's get a deal. It's going to be interesting to see what that deal is at 10 o'clock this morning, and how that's going to affect anything. They're one of the few countries that actually probably has a trade deficit with us, instead of the other way around. So
it's kind of swung both ways over the years. Chuck, we did go into a deficit with them a couple of years ago, but it's close to even historically over the last few years. A couple of percentage points either way. So I mean, they're a relatively productive trading partner for us.
They are, and they also reduced their interest rates yesterday or this morning, overnight, whatever, by a quarter of a point. So I think every time their central bank has met, they've lowered interest rates by a quarter of a point. So they continue to do that. And I think probably at this point, Dave, the United States is one of the few countries that has not moved interest rates any this year.
That's true. The other central banks seem to. And what I find interesting is with all of the interest rate reductions they've done over in Great Britain, they still remain the only 10-year bond. And I haven't checked this morning yet, but for the last few months, they've been the only 10-year bond that trades at a higher interest rate and a higher yield than ours. So they've got a reason to want to reduce their reference rate because their investors just aren't responding. Their national bonds are just not going down in yield, which is kind of sort of what they have in mind by reducing interest rates.
Yeah, you're right. They're still in the boat. I just checked the buttons here. The UK 30 years at a little over 5.25%, and their 10 years at almost 4.5.
Yeah, I'm really not sure as to why that mechanics happen because every time the Bank of Great Britain meets, you seem to reduce interest rates a little. That's also going to give President Trump some new fodder for the press conference this morning. Well, they're smart. They're reducing interest rates in contrast to our dumb old Fed chair. It's getting to the point where I can almost lip sync it. Other news on the trade front, we are actually meeting with people that actually get press attention with our friends over in China. They're meeting over in Switzerland, and we're actually going to have Treasury Secretary Bessent, Trade Representative Greer, and the Chinese Bryce Premier all traveling to Switzerland to huddle. And they've been trying to reduce expectations on this thing because, I mean, China, 145% tariffs. It's not a pretty sight to begin with. There's a lot to untangle and a lot of disputes going on. They're saying this is just to reduce tensions, but all of a sudden we've gone inside 1 week from moles in desks that we don't even admit exist to secondary people saying, yeah, we're talking, to now all of a sudden we got fancy titles meeting. Some of the strategy appears to, at the very least, be working a little bit, doesn't it?
It does, Dave. You know, we're actually, I think, getting some traction from the tariffs, and that's a good thing. That's the whole idea, is to bring people to the table and actually get them talking and making some changes overall. Hey, we did finally get my tip sheet come out that's got a few earnings to talk about this morning.
Cool. What's
As
your
we
lead item today?
You know, I think the big one, it's not even on my tip sheet, but is Burger King. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Restaurant Brands International. They missed, Dave, on earnings
Mm-hmm.
and on revenue. They missed on earnings by 3 cents a share at 75 cents a share. Revenue was off by a little bit as well, and so that's got them not too bad. They're trading down about 1/4% this morning, but same store sales had some issues as well. So they say they're working on it. They've got a plan in place to kind of get things back on track. We'll see if that happens or not.
You know, McDonald's had about the same kind of report when they came out last week. Their same-store sales inexplicably declined. I wonder if we've got something that might be a sector issue that needs addressing there.
It could very well be.
Yeah.
Hey, the exercise junkies out there, Peloton, you know, we talk about them
Mm.
off and on over the years, and they reported not good news. They lost twice as much as expected. They lost 12 cents a share. Revenue, though, was slightly above expectations, so some good news there on that front, but they're trading down almost 7.9% this morning.
Yeah, we kind of thought they dug themselves out of a grave for a little while. Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe they're not going to make that happen. Then we had, one of our favorite ones, Carvana, the
Ah.
vending machine car dealership. They had some good results. They came in at $1.51 a share compared to 67 cents expected. Revenue was above expectations as well. They're trading up 6.9% this morning.
Evidently, that new strategy they've got is doing some good. They've been saturating cable TV with "let us buy your car" ads. They're not even trying to sell them; they're just trying to buy cars. That's evidently it's working for them.
Yeah, I guess so. It's kind of interesting that and they're pretty neat commercials, right? That indicate they just go right there, pick up your car, and take it for you. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I was trying to see who else we had here that was a common name.
We
We
were
had
talking about this before we went on the air while you're looking. I just saw the top line number, but over in Japan, the Toyota company reported their top line wasn't bad, bottom line wasn't bad, but boy, oh boy, this is the first of the big car makers that issued guidance and said it was going to really, really stink. I don't know what's happening to their stock, but they showed billions of dollars of losses based upon the projected tariffs. So at least
man.
one of the cracks in the armor is happening.
There we go. So we got Tapestry.
Yeah.
Let's close with that one because it was a big winner this morning as we get going. Remember, they're the holding company for Coach and Kate Spade, some of the high-end luxury clothing and accessory makers. And they did very well. They earned $1.03 a share versus 88 cents. Revenue was slightly above expectations. They're up 9.1% this morning.
Wow. The picture that Tay is drawing is kind of interesting. We can't sell burgers, but we can sell overpriced purses in this economy.
There you go, man.
I'll just bang my head against a wall and try to process that in time for tomorrow. It was an up day yesterday on Wall Street with some interesting gyrations that took place yesterday afternoon and some big news on the trade front. What's that do for us 45 minutes before we open this morning, sir?
Dave, we got green ink. I'll tell you, it's been up higher. It's been down lower than what it is right now, but it is what it is. The Dow right now is up a little over 0.5%. The S&P 500 is up a little over 0.75%. The NASDAQ 100 right now is a big winner, up almost 1.2%. And then the Russell 2000 is up a little over 1.1%. So everything's got some solid gains heading into the open this morning. On the other side, we got silver down 0.7, gold down 1%. Crude oil, it's lower than what it was yesterday, Dave, but it's still up 1.6% from the close at $59.01 a barrel.
I'll take it for the moment at the gas pump. I'm about due to fill up, and I'm borrowing the company truck this week, so I could use some cheap gas. Overseas markets, the Chinese investors were really, really happy to find out folks were talking with us. The mainland Chinese index is both up, one of them up by almost a full percent at the close this morning, meaning Asian Rim primarily is green. Europe, on the other hand, green as well this morning. No red ink anywhere that I see. Average index up by a little over 0.5% halfway through the European trading day. Getting my retirement on track is vitally important to me. It should be for you as well. Phillip, how do I get a hold of you to get my retirement plans in place?
Dave, that's why I created the Core Retirement Design to help people design that retirement they always dreamed of. Then give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule their core retirement analysis. And then this weekend, join us for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m. and 95.3 FM.
And as the 60-minute news cycle continues, we'll be here tomorrow to tell you what the last 24 news cycles looked like. Fair enough?
Fair enough, buddy. Talk to you then.
Thank you. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler.
Hey, again, folks, I want to thank you for joining us today. Hope your day goes well. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.